This is your main man RJ from the Ringside Rant, heard only on the Visionaries Wrestling Network. So go over and subscribe across all your major platforms, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Stitcher to hear every great interview I have every Monday on the Visionaries Wrestling Network. Go over and follow the show's page on Twitter @_Ringside Rant. Follow the network's page @BizWrestleNet. And, as always, embrace the vision.
Hello, friends. This is Spencer Love, your host of Over the Top Rope on the Win Column Sports Network. Don't forget you can head to wincolumnsports.ca for all of your previews, reviews, and breaking news from the world of wrestling, be it your major promotions or from the great province of Alberta, Canada.
If you like podcasts and you are listening to on Backbreaker Media, then you should listen to me, Chris Parrish,
and myself, Manoy,
and the Sounds of Struggle, because we are literally the most entertaining duo you'll ever come across in Western Canadian wrestling, baby.
We talk about things like wrestling
and other sports we like.
Wrestling,
but we won't talk about other sports that we don't like, because it's not that kind of podcast.
Like wrestling?
I mean, we like hockey.
And wrestling.
And we like football.
And wrestling.
And we also like to drink beer.
While wrestling.
Well, not while wrestling, but while watching wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah. If you want to get into a conversation with Maniac and Chris Parrish, then you need to tune into the Sounds of Struggle live on Backbreaker Media.
Every Thursday.
Is when we hope to drop, but sometimes Mike Malowany doesn't do his job right.
Or we're too drunk to forget.
Yeah, that happens too.
Yeah.
He can bleep out the swear word, because we weren't supposed to do that.
Oh,
but
I'll try not to swear. I can't do it.
Yeah. Let's face it, the two of us, we're real.
And spectacular.
And we're a little bit of all right.
Yeah.
We're also strugglicious.
That we are.
That was kind of the key. We're supposed to do strugglicious.
Oh, sorry, I'm drunk.
Yeah. So, if you don't want to listen to us, then no. You're stupid, because we're entertaining. And if you want to listen to us, then, come listen to us on Backbreaker Media.
Yeah.
Later,
he said.
Later, bitches.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the quick calls for the Canadian Wrestling Coalition Headlock of Horrors 3 show from Festival Hall in Red Deer. My name is Mike Malowany. I am Mike the Ref, Senior Engineer at Backbreaker Media, and your host of CWC Evolution on Backbreaker VOD and Power Slam TV. This show tonight, my goodness. It was a very interesting show. It set up a lot going into Kingdom Come coming up November 24th. 5 matches, well, technically 6. A bit of insanity going out here. But speaking of insane, the insane crowd we had for this show, we had standing room only in the audience. I know there were 300 plus chairs put out, and there were people standing out in behind. I haven't got a formal total, and it's really hard to speculate on those. If somebody put a gun to my head for a number, I'd say approximately 350 to 400. But you could check out the VOD when it comes out to check for yourself what you think of the crowd size there. I know I put a note up on Instagram, Mike the Ref EDM, just during the national anthem to illustrate how big the house was. And my challenge is for every company to come up with a house like that for every show. If we keep getting houses like that, you're going to see Alberta wrestling get to a level that it has never been to before. But let's get to these matches here, and like I said, there was a lot of setup for the Kingdom Come show coming up November 24th. Coming out first, Commissioner Bob Gordon's out trying to do his promo shtick, trying to sell some of the merch there, including some of the merch I have out there. But all of a sudden, Johnny Kickass interrupts Commissioner Gordon, comes out to the ring, and once again refuses to talk to the fans, but has a pre-made note that Commissioner Gordon has to read. I am so glad that they don't make me do this at MPW right now. First of all, I wouldn't do it, and I'd make up words as I go. But second of all, some of the stuff that Gordon had to say, not very pleasing to the crowd, and just made Johnny look like a big bully, which, well, I guess let's face it, he is. But Commissioner Gordon announces his opponent for a non-title contest, and that is Son of Irish. Now, the last time we saw Son of Irish out here was in a match against Chris Parrish right after he regained his title following a lawsuit. Son of Irish gave it a game effort there, but was just completely overmatched by Parrish. Here, you can tell that he has been improving. Son of Irish has really gotten a lot better than what he was at that time, and took it to the champion. There was some chances that there might have been an upset victory here, which I'll get to in a second here. Son of Irish hits his 450 splash over the top, still can't get the 3. But then all of a sudden at the end, he gets caught trying to do a flying head scissors on Johnny Kickass. Kickass literally holds him. And folks, let's go back to Avengers 1, when the Hulk had Loki and decided to pound him into the ground about 600, 700, 800 times. That's pretty much what Johnny Kickass did to Son of Irish with his power bombs, just over and over and over with ease, all over the place, to the point where I do believe the Son of Irish got knocked out. 1, 2, 3, and the victory for Johnny Kickass. My goodness. There's a few takeaways I get out of this match. You can either consider it A, Son of Irish has improved quite a bit. B, Son of Irish has improved only a little bit. Chris Parrish tore him apart. Johnny Kickass couldn't take him apart, which means the champion is in trouble for what he's going to have to deal with coming up the next show, which I'll get to later on. Or C, was a hell of a contest, and that powerbomb is one of the most devastating moves in wrestling. I'm pretty much in the favor of A and C. A, the fact that the Son of Irish has improved quite a bit. He is young, he is growing, but he definitely has that fire that his father has showed through numerous months and numerous tries in that ring. But that powerbomb, my God. The biggest one was like that triple powerbomb. I swear, watching him go up and down with Son of Irish there, Johnny Kickass, he looked like the Hulk right there. Just bang, 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 over and over again. And the referee could have had the chance to actually signal this match off due to unconsciousness. I think that might have been a good idea at that point, but I digress. Well, let's move on to our second match of the evening. First of all, we had the prototype Alex Zwicker along with Cherry Doll come out to the ring and basically call out the two witches of CWC. I said witches. Everybody else said witches. Xander Price on commentary, folks. It's a little bit of gold there. But coming out first as part of their opponents was Envy, accompanied by Pride. You guys can figure out who the real witch is in that pair, but I'll leave that there for you guys to run with. And then their partner, Angelica, who recently had a little change of heart and had a little Harley Quinn in her for this episode, showing up in a very interesting outfit, very good look, and definitely new boots. Those sparkly boots really took a lot of attention there. But let's get to this match, folks. And I'll be honest, you had a position there where you had two more experienced wrestlers on one team in Angelica and Envy. These two have been around for a heck of a lot longer and have had a lot more matches than Zwicker and Dahl, and it really showed here. You could see a little bit of chemistry coming from the team of Zwicker and Dahl. There were a couple moves that I was shocked about. Basically a launching Bronco Buster. Best way to explain it is setting up for an atomic drop, or a reverse atomic drop with Zwicker in the arms of Dahl, but instead of putting her down on her knee, she just chucks her into the corner where you had Envy sitting there in the corner just prone, and it turned into a Bronco Buster. Rather innovative offense. Envy was getting pushed down quite a bit, to the point where the crowd was actually starting to almost feel sorry for her at some point, but in the end, you have Angelica and you have Envy showing their true colors, so the crowd definitely knew who to hate in that position. And then, of course, you have Pride out there running a little interference on the outside. End of this match, you have Cherry Doll and Angelica on the outside. Then you have Pride running a little interference on the outside while Envy's got the referee distracted. Zwicker loses attention, turns around, it gets eaten by, I would say, the most dangerous move in Alberta right now. As much as I put over Johnny Kickass's powerbomb, nobody, and I mean nobody, has kicked out from an Envy super kick. Envy nailed it right on the butt once again. 1, 2, 3, and the victory for Envy and Angelica over Cherry Doll and Ali Zwicker. Pride all proud of himself on the outside. Well, duh, he's Pride. Of course he's going to be proud of himself. They're out there trying to mock the crowd, do everything they can. Everybody else seems to get out of dodge. And then Commissioner Bob Gordon is finally starting to show some moxie. Showing a little testicular fortitude, I believe is what they used to say in the 80s. Bob Gordon stops both Envy and Pride and says, not so fast. Envy, you got your victory, as ugly as it was. You can leave, but Pride must stay. So Pride gets in the ring. He stays there. And it's now time for our CWC Alberta title match with Pride having to take on Lumberjack Larry. Now, folks, this match lasted all of about 30 seconds. The second that the action picked up here, and basically what happened, Larry went to go hype up the crowd, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, you had Pride hitting Larry from behind, just sneak attacks all over the place. But the entire time, he's yelling for Wrath to get out there. So all of a sudden, out of the blue, Wrath comes out with Envy. Of course, this had to be set up from the start. They get in the ring, and they're about to choke slam Lumberjack Larry to hell. But making the save is Mr. Saturday Night Dylan Stone. Comes in with a hockey stick. The ultimate Canadian equalizer, the hockey stick. And Bob Gordon, rather than just throwing this match, well, he threw the match out, but rather than just spoiling the moment and not having a match, you had Commissioner Gordon make the match of Pride and Wrath, the team collectively known as 2/7 of 7. I guess that'd be 14% of 7. taking on the team of Lumberjack Larry Woods and Mr. Saturday Night Dylan Stone. Now, for me, this was one of the most entertaining matches in terms of an impromptu tag I've seen in a while here. You had Stone taking a beating from both sides. You had Larry taking a beating. And rather, how do I put this? It looked rather bleak for the team of Larry and Dylan. They seemed very out of it until right near the end when Larry got the hot tag. Larry comes in, clears house. Key point of this match here is at one point Wrath came in for the save, and this is what you would call your Backbreaker Media turning point of the match. Dylan Stone tries to get in there and cause a little interference on Wrath, but Wrath's taking everything that Stone has. All of a sudden, you had Mr. Stone hitting Wrath in the Grapes of Wrath, if you get my drift. Went down for about 2 seconds, got back up. He didn't look like he winced in pain, he just looked angry. And he literally chased Dylan Stone out of the building, out of the festival hall. Now with both of those out of the way, there's nobody out there to help Pride, and it cost him. Eventually, Pride gets caught in a Muda lock by Lumberjack Larry and is forced to tap out. Envy tried to get the ropes illegally over to Pride, but it still wasn't any help, and Pride tapped out. So your winner of this match was Lumberjack Larry Woods and Dylan Stone. Now, here's something that people need to remember here. You have Lumberjack Larry Woods that not only has a submission victory tonight, but last month by hook or by crook, he had a pinfall victory over Jack Pride. Oh, jeez. Oh, I guess Mr. Pride. Sorry. Well, hell, he's got creaks in his harbor. He's going to get called a few extra names here, but could Lumberjack Larry Woods actually be the man that would take out Pride and end his, well, now it's going to be a year-long run as CWC Alberta champion? Seems time will tell. But then from there we went to intermission, and during intermission we had our costume contest. A big thank you to everybody who participated in the costume contest there. The youth prize was a gift card to Toys R Us, and the adult winner was given a coupon for one of the friends of CWC and Backbreaker Media, Rorschach Tattoos. Congratulations to both winners. I will say this. The kid in the dinosaur suit that won the kids contest, if anybody wants to look up Cassius.Ono on Instagram, he has video footage of him wearing that exact same suit to the actually participating in a match at NXT that same night. So if you guys want a good laugh, go on Instagram and check that out. It is hilarious. As soon as I saw that, I had to email a few of the guys and just say, what the heck is going on here? But here's one other point during this costume contest. A wrestler that's been down in southern Alberta, known as the Killer Bee, tried to participate in this contest. Commissioner Gordon was let aware of this by Bulldog McBain, PPW Commissioner, that the Killer Bee was going to be in town. So he made sure that no illegal shenanigans were happening there. And the Killer Bee was automatically disqualified for the costume contest. Thank goodness. But right after intermission, you had Sydney Steele coming out, absolutely pissed about Halloween, absolutely pissed off about, all the costume, all the fun stuff here. And he calls out the Killer Bee saying, if you're such a man, why don't you come in this ring and I'll take you on one-on-one? Well, he got in the ring, and you could see the Bee could go. He was a hive of activity in there, and he had honeycombs of strength, and Yes, folks, I'm trying to dig deep for some B puns here, but the turning point of this match, you had all of a sudden out of the blue, Sydney Steele throws a well, how do I put this? He Irish whips the B in the corner, but grabs the top of his head and rips the mask off. To which he finds out it is Mr. Saturday Night Dylan Stone under that mask. And in the shock of it all, Steele's in shock too. Quick roll up 1, 2, 3, and the Killer B, aka Dylan Stone, gets the victory over Sydney Steele. But that victory is quickly short-lived as Wrath comes out, seeing that Dylan Stone's still in the building, and Mr. Saturday Night buzzes off. No pun. Well, hell, all the puns intended. And gets out of the building, quickly chased by Wrath. So, a little bit of a fun time with the crowd, and sets you up for a very intense main event. Well, let's talk about that main event, folks. It was a Halloween horror match. Tornado tag, no DQ, falls count anywhere for the CWC Championship. And it is under elimination rules, so once one man is pinned, they go to the back, and the other man has to fight for his own. And if when the entire team is eliminated, that other team wins the match and wins the CWC Championship. So you had the Wrecking Crew, Sean Martins, Dean Richter. These two here, I will say it before, I'll say it again. Right now, they are probably the smoothest team in Alberta in terms of tag team wrestling. I would say Team Hall of Fame at PWA is fairly close, if not dead even with these guys. You got the Western Lions, who are also a challenge there as well. I got some other teams in the tank that are looking close to what the Wrecking Crew is, but just what they've done over the last year as a team, so smooth, so silky. I hate to put them over, but they are hell of a great competitors. But then they're taking on probably two of the best singles wrestlers in Alberta right now, in the Cheetahbear Jude Dawkins and the former CWC champion, the man who is known as the king of the CWC, Chris Parrish. Now, I know if you guys have listened to previous editions of Quick Calls, I've actually had a complaint about these type of matches, and I'm going to bring it up again. It's because I want to be fair to all promotions on this. A Falls Count Anywhere match where the action goes all over the building in a packed house, just like the last time we saw one of these was, just as this one was, it might not be as conducive to the fans as one would expect. You had Dawkins and Richter going at it on one side of the building. You have Martins and Parrish going on the other side of the building. And just like my my color man, Xander Price, who ended up having to do play-by-play while I scurrily ran over with my camera phone and started taking footage. It's hard to keep track of what's going on, and all the impact that both these guys are doing, or all four of these people are doing, it's hard to pick up, because when you're looking at one side of the ring and action's happening on the other side, you really don't know where to focus. And you're not going to maximize your pop on your big moves if half the crowd isn't watching what you're doing. So that's always been a big beef of mine with Falls Count Anywhere matches when it comes to non-complete TV events, and especially at events in big houses. Now, let's just call the match the way it was. It still was a great match, personally. These guys were absolutely brutal to each other. The first fall happens when you had the Abbey Road crossing from Jude Dawkins onto Dean Richter, followed immediately by the frog splash by Chris Parrish and a doggy pile cover, and Dean Richter gets eliminated immediately. So he goes to the back. Then the chaos ensues. Martins gets beaten up all 15 ways to heaven, and you know what? Personally, I think 3/4 of the crowd was enjoying it. The other quarter was just enjoying the fact that Richter was gone. But lo and behold, Richter finds his way out again more than once. Now this, to me, absolutely, this drives me nuts. Like, as much as I respect, companies that put stuff on like this, having the other man come out in matches like this, I understand you're trying to create some action, but if you're going to do something like this, you could do a match where you have to pin everybody on the team and just keep it 2-on-2 if you want. But if you're going to continuously have the second guy come out, why bother even, having that stipulation in there? It doesn't make you look better, because both teams did it. It wasn't just one team. It just looked cluttered and clumsy. But after that first distraction spot by Dean Richter, you had Sean Martins hit the pile driver on Chris Parrish and getting the 1-2-3, eliminating him. So basically it came down to Martins and Dawkins as the legal man in the matchup. It looked like Dawkins was going to take out Martins, Richter, the general, everybody that was there. Then out of nowhere, you have the CWC champion, Johnny Kickass, come out. And he attacks, Chris Parrish at ringside, then also the Cheetahbear in the ring. Unfortunately, after numerous distraction spots and numerous double team attacks, which I feel sorry for Ben and Derek for the fact that these guys keep coming out. They need to get some time in the gym here and just throw the illegal man out, just plain and simple, or there's got to be a disqualification involved. Unfortunately, Dawkins suffered a car wreck from the wrecking crew. Martins pins Dawkins and gets the 1-2-3, and they retain their titles. Like I said, folks, this match here in storyline might have been a good match, but if you're looking over the rules, you're looking over the action, I know everything got a big pop with the action in the ring, but for me, it was, if you're truly trying to have this kind of match where it's an elimination style match, you keep the guys in the back for the match. If they're eliminated, they stay in the back. If it was maybe one run in to cause a problem and the referee is dealing with that, fine. But there ended up being 3 times, I do believe, when Richter came from the back. That's a little overshoot, if you ask me. But let's get to the aftermath, because that was absolutely crazy. You had Johnny Kickass just come in and decimate both men, including a vicious attack with a chair on Chris Parrish's knee, which has been completely you-know-what ever since, hell, I think it started down in Lethbridge a couple months ago with that dive off the ladder and table onto, it was supposed to go on Kyle Sebastian, ended up going through a bunch of chairs. Ugh, that knee still can't be 100%, and it definitely isn't now, because you had Johnny Kickass put Parrish, he attempted to put him through the ringside table, but it's one of those thick plastic tables. He bounced off it twice, and actually, I believe they broke the legs on the table before they actually broke the table itself. Parrish is laid out at ringside. Commissioner Gordon goes nuts. He pulls prime time at anybody in the locker room out to the front to break up Kickass's attack. Dawkins is in the ring, just getting conscious at this point, sees what's happened, goes up to the top rope and splashes onto the entire roster of the CWC at ringside. Bodies lying everywhere. Absolutely insane moment. And you have Commissioner Gordon get into the ring, gets on the mic, and declares that Chris Parrish and Jude Dawkins have both proven themselves worthy of a CWC championship match with the performance that they had tonight. And don't know if it's official at this point. I do believe they made the announcement, but it looks like at this point they're going to allow Chris Parrish and Jude Dawkins to compete against Johnny Kickass for the title at Kingdom Come November 24th, pending the condition of Chris Parrish's knee come match time. From what I've seen, I don't think he's going to be able to go. And it looks like it's going to be Jude Dawkins confirmed in a one-on-one contest with Johnny Kickass. I do believe that's what Gordon ended up speaking there at the show, but it's all going to depend on what goes on here with the condition of Chris Parrish's knee. So, but yeah, that wraps up the show here, folks. In terms of matches, like I said, a very interesting card leading into Kingdom Come, but that crowd carried some of these matches through some of the, I would say, more awkward moments. Some of the great moments were just accentuated that much more, and it makes it very interesting about what's going to happen here at CWC Kingdom Come November 24th. And I'm just going to double check here, as you guys are always listening to me over so intently. Yes, it is the 24th. I get my dates right for once. Cool. But let's get to our highlights of the night. And I'm going to call my highlight of the night here that tag match right before intermission with Pride and Wrath against Larry and Dylan Stone. And the fact that Larry managed to get a clean victory via submission on the Alberta champion. It's something that doesn't happen too often, but it definitely is. He is in a position where he can get that title. So, my surprise of the night, I would have to say Johnny Kickass coming out whistling through the graveyard when he should be whistling through the graveyard, comes out and attacks both Chris Parrish and Jude Dawkins. All I can say is, Johnny Kickass, be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it here. Ugh. But that's going to wrap up this edition of Quick Calls here. Man, do we have a lot of cover this week. Not only did we have the Quick Calls covering this show, Andre C. and the Wrestling Mind, Brian Hamilton, have the Quick Calls covering the PWA Fright Night card from Edmonton that happened tonight as well. The main event of the Western Lions, you had Michael Richard Blaze and Brian Van Danielson taking on the team of the Odd Couple, Sheik Akbar Shabazz and the Omen Gabriel. That is a match that's going to be one to watch for sure. But that show and this show are the two of the 5 local shows that we have going on this week, coverage on the network. Coming up this Tuesday, Canadian Wrestling's Elite shows up in St. Albert for their Strutting and Cutting tour with the headliner Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I know Andre C. is ring announcing the show. The Wrestling by Brian Hamilton will be there. I'll be there. There's going to be a whole whack of characters being there. And folks, if you're in the Red Deer area and listening to this podcast, coming up this Thursday in Springbrook at the Springbrook Multiplex, they have the Canadian Wrestling Elite Strutting and Cutting tour coming to your town. Springbrook Hall, I do believe doors are at 6, shows at 7. It's going to be a fantastic card. There are going to be a few surprises there. And I'll tell you right now, folks, this card here, if you haven't been to a CWE show, I highly would recommend it, because there has been a lot of talent that's been going on through there that has gone on to WWE, Impact Wrestling, and the best example I give you is last time they were in town, one of the female wrestlers on the tour, Jordan Grace, just signed with Impact Wrestling, and this past December she was wrestling at Springbrook. So make sure you check out that show there. And then as well, you have Monster Pro Wrestling this Saturday with their Retribution 11 show coming up from the Alberta Ave Hall in Edmonton. This Tuesday at 5:30 p.m., I'm going to have a Facebook Live where I'm going to break down a little bit of what I got planned for the card here. some bombshell announcements, some very strange things coming down from MPW head office that they want me to take care of, deal with, add in, arrange. So I think I got everything nailed down now so I can actually formally announce some matches. I don't have time this week to come up with match graphics all the time, so I think a Facebook Live might be the best way to do this here. So, but then this week also, that's going to be it for cards. Coming up with talk this week on the podcast side. This Tuesday, we're going to have a little switch up here. Monday Night Shaw with Kyle Shaw is going to be delayed an extra week due to circumstances beyond my control. I heard something about Thaddeus Archer III having cold sweats about getting his hair cut in St. Albert this Tuesday, but that's just rumors, folks. Rumors and speculation. So I'm assuming that's why the Archer Report's been, or not the Archer Report, Monday Night Shaw with Thaddeus Archer has been delayed an extra week. So I'll leave that there. So in its place, we're going to have Tuesday Nonstop Anarchy. They're covering the third WWA World Wrestling All-Stars show. I do believe this one is from Scotland, so actually going to be editing it right after I get home from recording this podcast. So it's going to be rather interesting, but that's going to go up on Tuesday. This Thursday, we're going to have the Sounds of Struggle. Chris Parrish and Maniac are going to get you ready for Crown Jewel, as well as everything in the world of sports, wrestling. They're going to talk about how much they're going to beat up Shawn Martins and his entourage now. Coming up this Thursday will be, once again, a little bit more of a switch up here. This Friday, we're going to have PWA Radio with the legend T. James Logan. He mentioned he had a breakdown with some interviews with some wrestlers for PWA Fright Night from this Saturday. If I get that in, I'm going to get that out to you this Friday. And then coming up this Saturday, we're going to have the Double Down podcast with KJ. We just had Evolution. I swear, I'm still saying this. Becky Lynch, Charlotte, last woman standing. Somebody get me a damn cigarette. That match was so good. The rest of that card, absolutely great. She's going to have a lot to talk about it. I'm going to see if I can meet up with her so I can talk about it a little myself. But if not, I heard she's got a couple special guests lined up here. So that'll be coming out this Saturday. And then, of course, the quick calls for MPW Retribution. So, yeah, I'm a little bit of a busy boy this week. So I want to thank each and every one of you for checking out this edition of Quick Calls. We will see you at CWC next with the CWC. Oh, wow. I shouldn't wrap this up this quick. Before I go, don't forget, ProWrestlingPost.com. You can check out my bi-weekly article. Next Tuesday, my next article will be going up talking about quickly about the Evolution show, but more importantly, the pipeline that Alberta Wrestling is to WWE, Impact Wrestling, and a little bit more about NXT, because there's a lot more people coming out of Alberta going to NXT than you realize. So thank you, everybody, for checking this out. And don't forget, if you're going to make a good call, make a quick call. And this has been Quick Calls covering the CWC Headlock of Horrors 3 show from the Festival Hall in Red Deer here on Backbreaker Media.